Move back into Champion Select here for game number 3, the deciding match. Jin Air now have blue side once again. Does give them some priority as far as those bans are concerned. We've seen blue side win 2 games in a row. Is it going to be momentum based on game to game, or is it going to be side selection?
Well, let's strap ourselves in and think back all the way to game number 1 and remember how that draft really went away from KT. 3 losing lanes in a Kindred jungle to deal with was not a fun time.
Yep.
The Ryze priority has been really high. Do you just ban Ryze on blue side? Kind of a weird thing to consider, but KT seem to really practice these Ryze comps.
I don't know whether you worry about it.
You could say 1-1, but the one you lost was also like about the cleanest macro game ever. So
that's true.
There's a lot of things to think about. It was Yasuo, Rakan, LeBlanc on blue side in game number 1.
And the flex ban on the red side, you only get one of them, was the Tahm Kench, and the Ryze, like you say, is going to be banned away instead of the LeBlanc. Makes sense because it's now Yukal and not Pawn. They were fearing the Pawn LeBlanc, maybe knowing something about solo queue that we don't, having not being able to find Pawn's solo queue account that he's been playing on.
Does KT ban Shen and say we still want to play 1-3-1, or do they abandon 1-3-1 and go more standard? These things I don't know. So we'll see what KT Rolls decide to do. They'll take away the Tahm Kench. Does mean the first pick Shen come through from Jin Air if they're going to keep the priority from game number 1. Well, I'd like to see Yukal play Orianna. I don't know if he's ever played Orianna, so I would like to see it.
I'd like to see it as well. Deny it from Grace, given the fact that he's been allowed to play it 2 games in a row. KT now with some options, definitely, as Varus going to be snapped up very, very quickly. The Morgana also going to go into the hands of most likely Marta on the bottom side of the map. Not going to see Yukal do anything crazy with the pick either, unless they go for a Morgana 80 carry, awesome dude lane with Yukal going back to the lethality Varus in the mid lane, but I doubt that.
It's a possibility on the red side especially, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I like having some flexibility.
And this is one of the differences with KT compared to many other teams, is you think of KT against one of the other teams that right now are big fans of Jin Air, which is Gen G, the other team that's very likely to leapfrog KT to first if KT lose today. They're the sort of team that will always save at least one counter pick for their duo lane. KT appear to have just blind picked their duo lane and just putting trust in Deft Marta rather than getting Core JJ or Ruler, a favorable champion choice. Now, Varus Morgana, by no means is a weak lane. It is a very powerful duo lane. It's a bit of a difference there and a confirmation that, yes, there has been no professional games of Orianna yet from Yukal. He debuted in spring season. There's been only a smattering of Orianna, so it makes sense.
And it's also not going to happen this time around either, as he's going to be able to pick his Azir into the Orianna this time.
How exciting.
Yeah, not going to be Pawn locking in a Ryze for any crazy shenanigans here on the side of KT. And it's going to be very, very standard lock-ins from KT Rolster in this first round. Jin Air, however, have gotten absolutely everything that they could have ever wanted ever in their first 3 picks. KT looking very, very strong in the lanes this time around, though.
I think they'll be really happy with what they got. They got a bounty as well. Yukal got his first 2 wins professionally on that Azir. When he was competing with Pawn for his position back in spring of 2018. Great Azir player. Gonna ban away the Camille. Probably gonna be that top lane that's trying to be insured on the side of KT.
Last time it was Soan on his Kennen, and he's been playing a hell of a lot of it. Solo queue makes a whole lot of sense. Built a Bloodthirster in the end of that game and really made KT pay.
Small, interesting point. When was the last time we had a draft with no first-round jungler?
Hey, it's been a long time.
It's been a really long time since we've had no first-round jungler.
Bot lane
Camille is both
lane.
a top lane ban, but also a potential ban if you want to play Kindred. Because Camille is one of the few jungle matchups into Kindred that can actually really impact, go high tempo. You could also ban the Kindred and say, I want to be tank versus tank. I think I can outpath Umti if you score.
I do really love having the Emperor's Divide, being able to sweep people off the Lamb's Respite. It's one of my favorite combinations. But of course, Kennen going to be the ban here on the side of KT, wanting to focus towards the top side, meaning that the Gnar might be coming in here. Picking it into a potential Jace from Soan, of course, but not looking too worried because Soan does like the Kennen into it over anything else.
Jace actually pretty good into Orianna Ezreal because you poke and they don't have sustain. They might have a bit of shielding, but...
Take the other one instead, you're saying?
So if the Gnar is banned, you could definitely understand Jace being picked up for Smeb. See where the priority is now. Is the Gragas ban going to come out?
Ooh, Sejuani looking really strong right now.
Big nod of the head from Score, so I think he's definitely feeling whatever's coming through.
Yep, Sedge and Bristle. have a feeling that combination's looking pretty good.
Yep.
And they'll play it into Umti this time around because they know that they've got so much pick CC available to them. Look at KT's non-committal CC options. It's just insane.
Sejuani,
as well as the ultimates from both Varus and the Sedge.
It should draw a cleanse from Grace as well. So now Jin Air have to go with their draft here. I gotta say, my Rumble senses are tingling again for KT Rolster.
Oh no, but it's Varus Rumble, Papa Smithy.
I'm just telling you what my senses are tingling. We'll wait and see, depending if the GP comes out. Depends on the matchup, obviously. For the top lane, Umti's fallback very often is the Sky. He's going to go for this pick to try to get in there. Tricky to pull off against the Morgana, but possible. Now, if it's the Kled, the Rumble senses are definitely gone.
Yeah.
But the Kled would be interesting. Speaking of Rumble senses.
Your Rumble senses are on the wrong side of the map, Papa!
No, that's the wrong type of tingling.
What is this? As Smeb will have definite picks that he knows he can take into this matchup. We know Smeb is a Rumble player. He was hovering it. Wants Smeb to play it they lock in the GP, the mind
This
games,
feels
Papa.
like a Rumble play into the GP. When he saw the GP hover, I was thinking Rumble. Uh-oh, Smeb shakes his head. Is he saying, no, it's Rumble, or is he giving up on the Rumble?
Maybe he's saying, no, it's nah, because then you'll have some pretty amazing
Jace would be the lane
fighting.
Dominant choice.
True. When's the Yorick coming, Smeb? Oh, Nah's going to happen, so they're looking for the team fights instead. KT, once again, have themselves a pretty nice team fighting composition if they can get over a few humps. This time, Jin Air are scaling a lot in a lot of their lanes, and KT will have lane priority where they didn't in game number 1.
Lane priority potentially in 3 lanes as well. Could it be shoes on the other foot for KT Rolster, this time on the red side? I think Umti's going to have a day out, but GP can scale against the Gnar. The Azir is good into Ahri, but it's not going to be killing her in lane like it maybe was at different power levels. Ezreal and Shen get a nice all-in off. Mata knows very well how big a playmaker the Shen can be, even when the ultimate is discounted. And speaking of ultimates, as the game goes on, GP with a Shen ultimate could potentially just run at the Gnar and kill him in a side lane. So there's good scaling options for Jin Air, but after being almost perfect gamed in game number...
Feels like almost everyone here in the Soli Stadium is cheering for KT. So you can see a few of them here in the audience. Deft and Smeb fans.
It's like Earth on the Smeb sign there. Interesting. I don't know if he plays any Earth champions.
I was going to say...
Earthwick.
Yeah.
Earthrider Corki.
Those are the two I remember. Fizz. Fisherman Fizz with Earth as the...
Actually, he has played that skin before. Back in the on-hit top lane Fizz days when everyone was playing it.
Will that be coming back in 8.15?
You know?
Bruiser Fizz was buffed.
On this patch, Bruiser Fizz is the only Fizz because mid lane Fizz is really rubbish, but
yeah,
I think the AP Fizz is so strong on the next patch that actually overwhelms
Flex Fizz, though.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. Dark Times on the Rift was the Flex Fizz top side.
Thankfully, for the whole regular season, we will probably have the 8.14, so things will be okay.
What's your least favorite AP assassin or burst champion that became a top laner? As in, like, wasn't intended to be a Triforce tank, but became. Mine's Echo.
My least favorite was Echo, just because Echo became so boring when he was a tank.
But he's so exciting when he's AP.
No, he's so good when he's AP, and it's like, you see the Echo pick, and you're like, oh no.
They're going to split push forever and maybe lose.
And, like, never do anything actually good ever.
Their ultimate's only for running away.
And I love Echo as a champion, just in general, so it hurt my feelings really, really deeply.
Those two, chief offenders for Fun Police. Alright, so Jin Air, we're able to pick up this top side Scuttle. Scuttle War not really being opted into by Score.
Yeah, going to go for an interesting journey here as he goes into his Krog Camp second. Just going to deny that if the Skarner is going to make his way top side. But Umti not going to be doing that just yet. He went red to top Scuttle to our bottom side as Grace trying to fight Yukal here as does earn himself back a decent trade after the minions were no longer there beating him down, but Yukal's winning this one very, very handily so far.
Corrupting Potion, 5 of them in this game. 4 of them, sorry, I should say. Yeah. As Varus and GP also opting in, and both mid laners. So Doran's Ring seems to be in the toilet. I guess people are starting to phase it out a bit as Grace is taking a lot of damage in some of these trades.
Speaking of in the toilet, yeah, Grace is going to have to go back home. Going to recharge the Corrupting Potion, I guess, but doesn't have a teleport. He'll miss out on a Cannon Wave, and now Yukal going to continue laying down the hurt. Look at that.
Autos away from getting the kill, and Grace had to go cleanse like we mentioned. The power of the Sejuani draft is that originally it was going to be heal from Grace. He saw Sejuani, has to go into the cleanse. Now Yukal has a combat summoner advantage, having the heal versus the cleanse when it comes to this 1v1, and Grace is having no fun in the mid lane.
Yep, Summon Airy just punishing Grace every time it's off cooldown by Yukal as well. He's being unrelenting in this lane.
And maybe we should go back to spring season when there was a debate of should it be Yukal, should it be Pawn.
Oh, wow. Conquering Sands almost killing Grace. That one more auto, if there was not enough mana or something like that for Command Protect, he was dead.
Statistically, and also if you watched the games, passing the eye test was this fact that it was Yukal's laning phase that was really superior to Pawn's. Pawn's team fighting was always very good, but his laning phase, especially in 2018, was really falling away. But Yukal's laning phase from the first time he played was top tier, and these are the scenarios and some of the reasons that provoked KT to prefer Yukal and play him exclusively in the second half of spring season, and of course for every game except game 1 of this series in the summer season, and definitely building up quite a following and also a lead in the mid lane in this particular game.
Yeah, and also now having seen Pawn this season for the first time, a lot of KT fans probably hoping that Yukal stays around in that mid lane as well.
I, for one, am willing to give Pawn one more game in a best of 5, but yes, I'm definitely one of those people who, when Pawn announced his semi-retirement, that he was taking some time off, definitely sad from all he's accomplished in his career, but in terms of whether it would impact KT winning or losing series, it felt like Yukal had already really claimed the starter spot by that time.
It's very true, very true. The nostalgic part of me.
Wow, we're packing up a ganking.
All right, yeah, Crystalline Exoskeleton going to be broken here by Smeb, who wants to find the hop, does navigate it, holds onto the flash. Grace is here as well, and they get nothing.
They played that perfectly to Smeb. He waited. He really wanted to see the Skarner give him an out with the hop to be able to bounce over him. Saw it, and then didn't even need to use a summoner. So Smeb, once again, very, very smart top laner, waits for his moment, and all of the time wasted. Grace can't really afford to spend too much time out of lane, given that he's already been forced to go on one shopping trip already.
Yeah, Grace coming back to the mid lane like it's his second day at a job that the first day didn't go very well at, and you're like, oh, was it a bad dream? And yes, Grace, yes it was. It does actually trade nicely, but Yukal has the extra range. That will continue just bullying the Orianna.
Has the advantage of a null magic mantle over his opponent. Should help on some of these trades. Orianna, from the last time we had an Orianna versus Zir meta, does trade more reliably because Dissonance cooldown was reduced by 2 seconds. We'll talk about that buff many, many times because I'm still tilted by the fact that it said small buff on the patch notes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Literally every game Orianna because of it, but I'm a fan of Ori when it comes to casting her because the Shockwave is high impact but also can fail, and that's a memorable moment whatever happens. Grace out of lane, Score pushes up, playing around the pressure of Yukal in the mid lane.
Yep, he's going to be able to take this Crystal Spire as well. There's no mana on Grace. And now that Yukal has hit level 6, the threat of the ultimate a little bit too high. As soon as Grace loses a flash, man, he's just going to have to vacate the lane. Nova going to pay a little bit of attention here to Deft, who's going to be respectful given the fact that Martha's making his way back to the lane. Frostfang newly built and in hand.
The serrated Dirk Rush on Deft as well, so it seems like through scrims and solo queue, this is now agreed upon as being the best build. There's no mana in the build, but probably not going to be a poke war of a game. A lot of engage on both sides, so not as reliant on tier, and tier is still situational. For the Varus, biggest situations, Sejuani, all the way deep up this lane, has the ultimate.
The KT are going to be able to play this one as Marta flashes into the Dark Binding, the layering of CC. First blood in an instant goes over to Score.
Plays around information perfectly. They have Morgana Flash, and that means 100% guarantee, even though the CC duration on that Glacial Prison was nerfed. Another kill there. It's the first blood, and the bot side, it goes to Sejuani.
Yep. And you look at it, you're like, oh, why didn't Nova flash? He had no opportunity to do it. That was just a one and done. The Shen was just straight up dead. Now they're trying to zone Teddy as best they can, but that's not going to happen. He's an Ezreal. Def just going to tank up a turret shot, but going to happily build a bit of a CS advantage, given the fact that Teddy's going to struggle to get all of these creeps underneath the turret.
And it is definitely junk items when it comes to controlling wave, because it's tier into Sapphire Crystal. So Definitely not going to be impacting the lane pushing at all.
And when we saw Sungin win this, actually, in other words, in other thoughts, Smeb going to be able to get the extra health here from the Mega Gnar, but may actually have to flash here. We'll see whether he actually can get it done, as he's going to get impaled. The flash does come in as Smeb, he's going to fall down in the end. Score trying to get this 1-for-1, but he's going to get stunned. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Shockwave comes in. The Emperor's Divide is there, though, and Yukal, with the extra movement speed from the heal, is going to get over the wall, conquering Sands. The last auto attack from the Sand Soldier locks it down. Meanwhile, topside, I believe it was a 1-for-1, and Score was able to get one back on Umti.
I don't know how that part happened, but the mid lane was classic Yukal. Great solo kill, justifying the counter pick of the Azir here. We knew it was a big pick for him. That's why Yukal's in the roster. Big moment for KT as they continue that quest to be first at the end of the day.
And trading flashes is even fantastic as well, because he's the one with the kill threat in the mid lane, meaning that now Grace, as soon as the timer for the Emperor's Divide is back up, then the Orianna is a sitting duck.
Isn't it amazing how just the draft, as we watch some more poke being eaten by Teddy and his Tier and Sapphire Crystal, but just the smart choice in the draft of going Sejuani, forcing Cleanse, and then allowing heal Yukal to do the rest of the work. It wasn't even attention from the Sejuani required, but just a summon as well advantage, and now the bot lane, a disaster. The blind pick Morgana Varus. Best of luck with this.
Score's pathing is even good in Champion Select.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. KT going to be able to take first turret as well. Like you say, Teddy punished for not going the respectful Sheen and deciding to go with the tier first up. We saw Sungin do it at the same matchup. As going to check this out yet again and see exactly how Umti fell down, as the Impale was hilarious.
It looked like he was just caught. I'm guilty. Sorry, guys. I'm guilty. Hands up. How did he get the kill on Umti is what I need to know.
Flashes in, gets the permafrost, and Winter's Wrath does it. Almost gets 2 kills, I believe. He was chasing after the pirate.
That was probably the last auto that the Azir was able to pick up there, but it's enough to take the kill. Big moments for KT, already in service of a 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes.
Yeah, great calculations from Yukal in the mid lane. Now has this wave in pretty perfect position, as well as Grace. Gonna have to deal with these Sand Soldiers. He's still playing relatively far up. He's gonna have to be way more respectful if he's gonna stay alive in this lane. The ultimate back available yet again. He's one shifting sands away from being Shurima shuffled to death.
Lane ward is a smart one. It does give so much information to Umti, who wants to roll through and kill Yukal. Grace has to walk up, but also not be punished. Smarter finds Umti.
Has himself a Black Shield. Dark Binding going to land. That guarantees the dragon, but that was already guaranteed. Mountain Drake for the first one. 10 minutes into this game, KT will be looking to try and grab this Rift Herald as well. Meanwhile, in the meantime, though, Score is on the bottom side of the map. Skarner with a potential opportunity to try and take on Shelly, but KT with way too much control around this map when you've just got mid priority so high. Favor of the Azir does make it so hard to take down the purple buff.
I guess there was a discount on control wards because 4 of them already placed on the bot side of the map. Best of luck getting past that river, says KT Rolls, so they own the bot side of the map. They seem to want depth to just return to lane rather than rotating around as we would usually expect with the Varus. Where the kills are very easy because they have Sejuani Varus for lockdown, and it's not an auto attack Varus, it is burst damage from the Varus. He walks up, he's got the Yoma's Ghost Blade. He is real damn strong.
And this is Vintage Martyr as well. He's got 3 control wards sitting in his back pocket here, really trying to own this bottom side, already replacing that first one. Score going to move over, finds himself Umti as they're fighting over vision here yet again. Teddy's going to turn up first though. Black Shield, absolutely incredible, as Umti was starting to have a giggle with that Impale. Martyr says, hell no you don't.
Good timing from Martyr there. Got you to shout about Black Shield in that scenario, so that clearly shows there was an important timing. They'll back away. KT can find many different opportunities to roam around the map. They're still happy about the mid lane matchup, a 20 CS lead, and of course, a solo kill that we saw. Stopwatches are now live, so some defensive options available for GP, Orianna, Ezreal, and Shen. But consistent damage available for KT, so stopwatch value might be up and down.
Yeah, we'll see whether Jin Air are going to be able to keep themselves alive throughout the mid-game that is looming, and it's looming in terrifying fashion in favor of KT Rolster. Nova going to turn up into this mid lane to try and get Grace some space. But yes, it rhymes. Still probably going to be a very difficult task. Ahead of Jin Air.
Doesn't seem like anyone's on the chase, though, for Grace, so gonna watch the teleport come to top side. I don't know, it was right there. I had to reach
Oh,
for it.
you're helping me save face, so it's working out.
Do you reckon Trace is watching this one for Gen G?
I don't know. That could be the case. Is KT going to move topside? We're going to try and stop rhyming Grace's name, as there could be a very dead pirate up here. He's waiting with a barrel, but I don't know whether it's going to do very much. Cannon Barrage comes down. Deft trying to layer some CC in here. Umti is going to turn up, as Someone does use his stopwatch. KT going to have to use some flashes, but Dark Binding is there. Another stopwatch going to come out of it, but Mata uses his ult to zone, and Nova should probably pay the price. That's going to be that. Mata gets a well-deserved kill.
Yukao coming in for a multi-man ult. Doesn't find it. We'll find Grace.
Fight again, Grace. He's going to get pushed into the wall with the ultimate. Yukao probably didn't want to do that one, as the ultimate does basically nothing on the side of the shockwave, and Grace says, oh man, I really wish I had about 6 more items. He doesn't. That's going to mean the Azir reigns supreme once again in the mid lane. Umti, not a lot he can do here as well with the Impale on cooldown. KT bullying around Jin Air at the moment.
I think he wanted him perma-stunned against a wall or over that wall towards the trajectory of the rest of the team. Didn't get either, and in the end, easy escape for Grace.
Seems a few pixels in the wrong direction, as Yukao gets a little bit trolled by his own Emperor's Divide.
Definitely happen. Really good spot here at KT Rolster. The side waves, the profiting off the side lane power that they got, because this time, of course, we liked their draft when it came to early priority. Didn't see this in game 1 because they didn't have that priority, but they have it. They've capitalized on it. They've definitely fixed out some of the mistakes they were making in game number 1, and this is the KT that KT fans want to see more reliably, but sometimes they flat out to deceive. Sometimes they just really put out power performances like game number 2. This is one where KT seems primed to close it out pretty cleanly, even though Jin Air are certainly not out of the game yet.
Yeah, 3,000 gold is the lead here for KT, 15 minutes into the game, but you best believe that Shelly is going to be the next thing on the menu. They've already taken the first turret. That goes down on the bottom side. They will be able to get pressure in these lanes. Trinity Force is done for Soan, so that is good news. Mata wandering around this river trying to get vision control, and certainly will. They had 5 control wards lining that river already.
And their items are just so much stronger at this point in the game. The National's Tooth already there for the Azir. It was a rush on the Yomu's Ghost Blade, so try to contest with just an Iceborne Golem, not going to be enough, and that means you have to give up objectives, Atlas. KT knew this in game number 1. Jin Air understanding it here. There is the Rift Herald. 1 turret only so far, but I imagine those outer turrets going down soon.
Yeah, and they can take whichever ones they want here on the side of KT as well, because they've already got a fair bit of damage into the mid lane outer. I have a feeling that's where Shelly will be put down just to punish Grace even more.
Smith is hanging around, so they're not trying to make a cross map here. They're actually looking to get the blue buff and dunk on the GP. Umti lying in wait. He's going to disengage.
Able to save this turret as well. Smeb going for the 1v1 against Soan. Collects himself the boomerang and does get the ultimate out of the pirate. More control being given over to KT. Half the health bar of the turret is all Soan's able to gather.
I guess KT just don't want to sacrifice this Nova.
Ghosting.
Looking for an engage, because he knows that Grace is coming up.
Also had his spellbook, so can switch over to the flash. Grace comes in, doesn't use the ultimate too quickly. Attack dissonance not even enough to get rid of a black shield, which is a disaster.
And they're going to lose a lot of turret health, and if the Rift Herald's used, they're going to lose the turret. So this was a very risky play. This feels like medium risk, low reward play from the side of Jin Air. It's very hard to pull that off. They got a black shield and just a skip away from Deft with the Yomus. So trying to make a play to get really held in that area. And now there's 2 turrets down. KT seem to be wanting to go for the victory the coach can get behind, where they sacrifice no turrets 2 games in a row. But Jin Air going to say no, we're on the board.
Yep, they're going to be able to take this top outer. Not a lot that KT can do. Deft is probably going to hang back. Actually deciding to play aggressively as the minion wave is going to die. So piercing arrow going to fly forward, but not going to find Nova. Deft threatening with the ultimate is enough to get rid of the bottom lane of Jin Air, as they're not able to step forward, and Deft has enough instant wave clear.
Serrated Dirk already done. Soon to be that second Dirk item.
Trading up about as much as they possibly can. The Skarner interaction with Emperor's Divide is also hilarious. I believe if you ult him while he's impaling you, you just follow him along with your wall.
I want to see it now.
No, I really want to see it as well. We're pretty sure that's the interaction.
We've been denied the Griffin special all season. Griffin have never actually played Skarner. Even though it seems like a pick that we could see Tarzan play, and the Griffin special, if you guys missed spring season, was the Thresh Lantern extending the range of the Skarner ultimate in hilarious fashion.
Yep.
Saw plenty of times in the LCK towards the end, but it was originated by Griffin in the Challenger Series.
Oh man, there are so many options as well. You could actually wall the Impaled Azir into the Gnar ultimate and push the Skarner even further away.
I think you're again trying to get
You're using Skarner's ultimate against him. That's the best thing.
Gotta get on YouTube. I'm sure some of those interactions have already been well researched.
Yep. Let's see. Speaking of which, going to be hanging around here, around the mid lane. No QSSs have been built on the side of KT, so not wasting any money in stats that they're not able to use right now. We'll see whether they're actually going to get punished, because it can bite you to have a free engage option here and free pick opportunity on the side of Jin Air.
We'll see if we have a take-home message for our younger crowd of pay your taxes, or whether you can get away with not paying your taxes. Yeah. Like you say, the Skarner tax not paid by KT because they feel they're far enough ahead. They can build damage, use their Mountain Drakes, and if they just take a Baron and more outer turrets, maybe you never need to pay your taxes.
Yep, maybe their banks are in the Cayman Islands or something like that. Not entirely sure what KT have set up for themselves financially, but looks like they are opting out of any sort of respectful option here. Numpty is just milling about here in the river, and if they find the Skarner, might be able to just get this one without him being able to actually use the ultimate at all. Predator was invested, not actually going to yield any results. Crystalline Exoskeleton comes back up for some more movement speed, but our mid laners are trading, and that's always going to mean that the Azir is feeling better. He's 40 CS in the lead. Oblivion Orb now, as well as his Nash's Tooth, moving towards item number 2. At a great clip, 20 minutes into this one.
The biggest fright for Jin Air this game is that the clock has to strike 20, because 20 comes down, all the wards are gone, all the control wards are down, and either the enemy team takes the Baron or Varus, Morgana, Sejuani turn means you die. They have a Sejuani to tank the Baron for a long time as well. There really is no good decisions for Jin Air around the Baron, but there is a blue buff for Grace.
Give him a consolation blue buff. That's all you can really say about that one is, yeah, Baron. Yukal is the one that offers the most consistent damage onto it, but Jin Air are going to get wise as Marta finds himself Dark Binding. Deft throws out the ultimate, doesn't find anything. Cannon Barrage is what has to be used in order to scout this one out, and KT say, well, if you're going to give us an ultimate for free, I guess we'll go over and try this one once again. Jin Air with teleport in hand.
Jin Air were definitely scared. Use the GP ultimate, long cooldown, unavailable. Going to be a shopping trip, and actually spotted on a trinket ward was the Morgana, so that does allow Umti to walk up. This time, the stone plate, some big purchases coming through. Deft now has 2 items as well. They've got their power, they're going to come back, and I imagine Baron is where they want to wield that power around.
Yeah. See, there's a Null Magic Mantle in the back pocket. Yukal, we'll see whether that turns into the QSS we were talking about before, or whether he is going to just turn it into a Banshee's Veil to stop that one from instantly being the spell of choice.
Fiendish Codex does seem to scream Banshee Veil.
Yeah, the Oblivion Orb just there to have a little bit more lane dominance, much like you used to build the Haunting Guys and Sorcerer's Shoes back in the day.
Well, you know that Ezreal is already going to have to index onto Iceborne Gauntlet to respond to Deft's poke, and then you say, well, double Magic Band is feeling pretty good about doing almost true damage earlier in the game.
Really like the build option. Really like the amount of Dark Bindings that are landing here from Marta as well, who spots out.
What don't you like about this?
I mean, I like a lot of things. I don't like how the game was played in game number 1.
Okay.
That wasn't very good.
That's fair.
It was pretty good by Jin Air, though. I liked that.
How do you feel about Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit? I think that they have some unsavory names to their albums and their name in general. And I don't want to talk about it, Pop Smithy.
Well, I'm sure Jin Air came away feeling a bit limp in game number 2, and they want to be less anemic here by finding something.
They're not going to, though, is Teddy. He's the one that's going to get locked down. The ultimate from Score was good, but Shockwave's going to land on only him. He's not able to tank too much. The follow-up from KT, not quite there until the very end when the Piercing Arrow lands. Have they taken enough of the health bars here? Remember, if Shen gets taken down low, he still has the Stand United to get back.
KT going to keep baiting, though. Trinket Ward is down. GP ultimate back up. There's so many ways to check here. For the side of Jin Air, they will soon have that Ezreal ultimate as well. So for now, KT still playing very safely around the area. They're very comfortable about where this game is going, but There is still team fights that Jin Air will win. Need more items onto specifically the Orianna. This one's still tickling, but that threat level will get up when we see 3 or 4 items onto Grace.
That's exactly right. This game is nowhere near over territory, as KT do at least have 2 Mountain Drakes to try and boost that Baron taking ability. But until they do take the Baron, I don't think you can call this game anywhere near over, given the scaling opportunities that Jin Air have on their side. Over's going to move his way up. Infernal Drake started here from KT, as Score and Deft have a fair bit of damage, but this gives a lot of leeway over to Jin Air to try and pressure down that top outer turret. Finally, getting their first one will be Grace on the Orianna, and we'll get all that local gold as well, which is great news for her. Sitting on about 2,000 in the bank as well. He's managed to slowly claw his way back up. Only about 600 gold. The difference between the mid laners is a big deal when Yucal did get that solo kill.
Will take a long time to rotate to the mid lane in a turret though, so that's why KT with their fresh Infernal do walk up.
Yeah, and this is going to take a lot of damage as well. As you know, Yucal does a lot of damage to the turret. And Deft, even though he can't auto-attack it, Score and Yucal are going to be easily enough. Sun Turret sets up position as well. Going to be basically a free ward as Soan dealing with the Mega Gnar on the bottom side of the map, who's got his 2 items that he really wants to be a menace. As another ultimate flies forward from Score. Shockwave onto 2 members in the backline though, as Deft gets a very late Black Shield, and Impale is going to take down the Sejuani, the perfect target for Jin Air around 24 minutes when the Baron is so coveted.
It could have even been more. The GP ultimate wasn't used in that fight. They're chasing onto Yucal. They'll be able to get over the wall.
Shifting Sands able to be in there, doesn't even need to use the Q as well, as Predator goes wanting. Teddy here now having to deal with Smeb, and they're trying to buy time so that Score can get back here. It's not going to be Baron. Umti not opting into that one at all. That would be a very aggressive choice. They could be able to get some structures here, and thankfully some global gold over the side of Jin Air. KT, the early game looked good, however, they can still be made pay as Umti. Oh God! The extra damage from the piercing arrow as well as Smeb's boomerang enough to get rid of the Skarner, and the jungle trade could be huge for KT.
Sejuani coming from base. Home guard's interrupted by the Ezreal ult. They'll still get it.
Marta, he might be the next pick option. Another ultimate going to land here from Deft, but no follow-up available yet again. Smeb looking for it, doesn't get the stun, but the wallop's there onto Grace. Does have himself the cleanse, but Smeb is just going 1v4 basically. Fade away, not there with the piercing arrow.
Deft doesn't have any mana. That was the last of his mana, the dregs of his mana to do the Q. It goes wide because they don't have mana. They can't turn onto the Baron, even though Umti only now respawns.
Yeah, he's going to respawn. Grace has to go home. No cleanse available. Double backs to come in here as... Oh, it's getting a little bit shaky. I feel like we're watching the tightrope walk of KT move over from pretty perfect standing in game number 2 to having a bit of a shaky moment. It's like it got a bit windy in there, but we're steadying it. The ship is getting back on course. 2,000 gold the lead. Jin Air happy for any sort of instability on the side of KT.
Just want to make it a higher gold game. They're going to be able to clean up a lot of the last remaining standing gold very soon. Maybe not just now, but Smeb's going to give it up because the size of the minion wave, because he has no control bot side. Now set up top side, they haven't been able to wield the power they have. Yucal has not really been a factor. The last couple of skirmishes. KT looking for a pick, Nova walking up.
May change now. They've got pretty instant wave clear. And Yucal has the Banshee's Veil, which is very important. Score needs to avoid getting caught and immediately killed, but thankfully Gargoyle's Stoneplate is going to help him with that one. Did yet to pick that one up just yet as Soan. He may have actually got himself caught out. The slow is going to land there as Deft lands the hail of arrows, but Soan with the flash gets himself out over the side. Piercing arrow not going to land because the blast cone is there. A lot of summoners, the ultimate out from the gangplank as well, but thankfully for Jin Air, not the death.
The itemization is clean for the Varus. The game goes on with the total armor penetration coming through from the Lord Dominik's Regard, a much more attractive choice than the old Giant Slayer that was on the item. He's just able to get pretty much true damage onto most members of Jin Air. It doesn't give up any stats to do so, even works on the squishies as well. So Deft's damage is going to register in a big way when he gets the recipe cost in there. We already know that Azir has been denied the territory, but certainly has the damage items to turn on a fight. Waiting for that moment, no blue buff for Deft. It's a bit of a struggle because he does run out of mana very quickly.
Okay, taking a move over, they take the Crystal Spire, give their position away. They were able to camp on their control ward that they did have there, and force Jin Air to move to them. KT are getting a little bit restless, though, as there are 2 wards in this Baron pit, and they're still going to start it up. They'll have full information as to where Jin Air are, and the turn is going to have to come in here. But not a lot of good tanking options here, with Smeb building half for lane, half for team fight. KT pull off it. They have to sacrifice health bars. Deft going to go back home, recharges that mana bar yet again. Lord Dominik's Regard is in their teleport, available, and wants to head towards his mid lane to help Smeb clear out these minions. Jin Air now do get some space. This game of cat and mouse, it feels like Jin Air are slowly but surely pulling their way back in.
They were able to sit down, breathe, and recollect themselves after we saw solo kills in the mid lane. The game seeming to very quickly pendulum swing to KT and just be a reiteration of game number 2. It hasn't been in game number 3. They're stabilized in a very important way. They may be down 3 Drakes, 2 Mountains, and an Infernal, but it's only 1,000 gold. The GP no longer solo kill potential in the side lane, and Orianna well shielded despite being a champion that struggles when a turret is down. It's a nice stabilizing moment for Jin Air. The Ezreal is turned on. In terms of item build, the Orianna's at 2 items, not 3, so it doesn't really have the oomph behind the Shockwave. But who's to say frontline Teddy doesn't just win a team fight very soon?
Yeah, that being said, it's still feeling like KT are 1 pick away from exploding this game open. So the clenching that Jin Air have to do throughout this part of the game is going to be really, really dangerous. Okay, Score looking for the Arctic Assault onto Umpty. Vision available here as he is going to get headbutted, but oh, crucially, the ultimate not going to land, but the rest of the skills do. Umpty has to flash to get himself out of the way. Smeb desperate to get on top as well, but thankfully for Jin Air, Umpty survives this one. Shockwave not going to be opted into there by Grace. Felt like there was a 2-man there available, but he decides to hold on to it. Reserved, patient play. Jin Air spot the Baron once again and give Umpty some space to go back. No flash, though.
The Baron speed is overrated on the side of KT because they don't have the Blade the Ruin King Rage Blade Varus. They only have Azir. Do real Baron damage. Narkhan also group and Hyperprocket to death. He needs to be split pushing. Means they don't have the cleanest Baron ever. It's not quite an awesome dude, the Varus, but when you go this lethality build, you do make certain trades. Yukal gonna get away.
Thankfully not window shopping. That could have spelt the death of him. Shift some sands over that wall to get himself to safety, but denied the back is actually pretty important because Yukal was probably looking at item number 3. Score, taken down to about half health here as Teddy needs to be respected. Zero mana in there, Blade of the Ruin King already completed. As Jin Air getting a little bit ballsy, pushing up almost past the river line in the mid lane.
I'm on a flank, doesn't have the Mega Gnar.
Still going to jump on over, wants to find Someone. Hyperprocs in there as well as Grace turns up. Not going to go for the 1-man ultimate or anything like that, but Smeb feeling happy to do this, given the fact that he does have the Guardian Angel. Remember, there's no flash on Umpty, so those stuns are actually very important. Teddy flashes forward, immediately QSSs to get out of the ultimate, but Deft will take that trade, given the cooldown reduction that is in this build. KT just jostling with Jin Air. Jin Air feeling better and better, but if these piercing arrows land, then Deft is going to need the respect, and Jin Air are going to need to pull back.
But Jin Air know there's a limited amount available. The fact that it's half-healthing the Shen isn't ideal, but if he's running out of mana, he will have no teamfight impact, and I don't think KT can allow that to happen. So the moment they realize that, they push up, KT have to pull away, and this game, right in the balance, it means so much. Still not decided, though. Jin Air feeling like the reliability of their comp in the mid to late game compared to do we get a pick, do we not, being so important, kind of binary for the side of KT. Jin Air kind of feel confident about future team fights.
Well, this game means the difference between first and fourth. For KT Rolster, this game also means almost guaranteeing that Jin Air can stay away from relegation as well.
BBQ will be officially relegated, I believe.
Yeah.
Jin Air win. Maybe the 2-1 game score will mean that game score doesn't necessitate that, but we're talking about real conditionals here, and doesn't feel like conditionals are going to help BBQ on this season. For KT, that conditional is, do you win here? This really does set them up for a run for the top if they win, and if they lose, their schedule is not as easy as Gen G's. They probably have the easiest run to first spot. Jin Air can do a number on multiple different teams. They've already been so influential in spring season, taking down Rock's Tigers and stopping them from making playoffs after we had Crown crying tears on our stage, thinking that Gen G had missed playoffs, only to get the life thrown back into Gen G's hopes by Jin Air beating Hanwha with nothing on the line. Jin Air still are in a good spot, but they're not out of relegations yet, so they have something to play for.
KT as well, once again on the front foot, moving vision up here in this jungle, but Jin Air still looking for more damage. They do get a large chunk onto Deft with the True Shot Barrage. Thankfully, Score tanked it up, so it took away a bit of that damage availability onto the AD carry, but still a lot of vision being jostled for KT, winning out on it so far. But have a look on the bottom side. You can see the Gangplank actually pushing Smeb a little bit further back here. Teddy in the mid lane. See the minion wave just being followed here as Smeb playing very respectfully. Knows that the rest of the team does have control around the jungle. Teddy pushing up in the mid lane, yeah.
He knows that he's very, very slippery. His summoners are up, his QSS is back up. Might as well get KT to respond to minion pressure.
QSS done here for Deft as well as Score. Looking on over. The ball needs to be respected here from KT. See whether Grace is going to be able to get the shockwave in this fight that they need. Jin Air's going to need a fight to go very, very far in their favor. So1 getting chased by Smeb. Smeb at the team fight ready with his Guardian Angel done as So1 going to get bounced on. Score once again looking for more. Marta as well threatening with his Zhonya's Hourglass completed.
Smeb has Mega Gnar very, very soon.
Great flank positioning as well as Score. Gargoyle Stone Plate actually going to be used here just to keep his health bar relatively high. Is going to wear off as Teddy's landing so much of this poke. That last Mystic Shot could have been the difference between Score needing to go back home or not.
Minion waves are counting against KT in this one. Jin Air pushing the bot side. KT's minion wave not in the mid lane, so they can't actually push it through. Umtee's flash was down this entire time. It'll be up now.
Yeah, the ultimate is going to land there, but Teddy does get over the wall. A lot of damage actually missed out on there as the piercing arrow. I thought it was going to land. Teleport now going to come in as Nova uses his spellbook in order to teleport back into this fight. Doesn't actually have to get in with the ultimate.
Just want to get control wards, can get there. Has his flash back up, so that was just in place of the flash. Has a smite also, if there needs to be a smite war. KT won't give them one of those. That means they've never taken the Baron, and Jin Air just have to look at the mana bar of Deft every time, and they know when they can move up and when they need to show respect.
Yeah. This game of cat and mouse, oh man, it continues.
Who's the cat and who's the mouse?
I don't know. Maybe fencing's the better analogy, where you've just got two dudes in masks, because it's feeling really even at this point.
3 Drakes taken early, but because the ocean was so low value and this game has been played top side only, might as well just black out the bottom side of the map. It hasn't mattered. Nara and GP have traded farm, and the game has been played 4v4 on the top side.
Dak is going to come in here for Yukal, see what he can actually pick up to try and influence this game. It's only an easily large rod, but he does have 3 control wards. The more control wards the KT have, the more power they're going to have around the Baron. But they really need to start making a move there. The longer they wait, the more difficult it is going to be to get anything of worth against Jin Air. And I love what So1's done. Look at all the lethality in his build. He knows that he's largely going to be in a side lane. His influence in a team fight is a Cannon Barrage, and my god, it's going to do some damage to the squishies.
Deft didn't build any more damage. He went back and got the QSS. QSS, stopwatch. Does plenty of damage, so I can understand it to some degree, but it's not registering. They can't find a pick. Grace has cleanse. QSS on Teddy. Flashback up on the Skarner. Okay, Score just rushes in.
Yep, he's going to find 2 members of Jin Air. Teddy going to move on over as well, but KT, the rest of them are going to be backed up here as Grace is going to take away another blue buff. Deft still has one. Yukal, he's pressuring on this inner turret top side. Score going down very, very low. Has to Arctic Assault to get out of the way of Teddy, who's still, he smells blood in the water. They've got vision of where this Sejuani is. They have to back themselves away. Teddy even wants more as he's trying to sneak in these Mystic shots. Remember, he's so incredibly comfortable given the fact that Stand United is available. Umti, he's going to get turned on. Sun Turret turns up as well as the ultimate. Going to land here from Score, but Umti, he's not going to get taken down this time. Doesn't even have to use a summoner.
Sun Turret and the minions means they can actually make a push here, but what will Jin Air do?
Yep, the Shockwave is going to be threatening. Teddy sped up as well by the Dissonance. Teddy being given a lot of utility as So1 lands a huge barrel on Marta, has to flash to get himself out of the way. Nova, doesn't find the taunt as Score Arctic Assaults to get himself out, and this is on a knife edge between KT and Jin Air.
Feels like the bigger knife as Jin Air as Marta dies!
Wow! That was with one of the members of KT being hit as well before that even happens, and that is so huge. Not a massive death timer, but 30 seconds is still pretty big. See whether Jin Air can actually threaten around the Baron enough to take it, or whether it's just going to be vision superiority given over to Jin Air Green Wings.
Deft might have more Dirks, but I feel like Jin Air have the serrated knife. They feel like in this knife fight, they're actually able to wield power more reliably. Deft has got no value out of those Qs. They're just not hitting priority targets when they need to. All the cleanses mean the picks aren't happening. We said about 5 to 10 minutes ago that if the pick doesn't happen, don't Jin Air do well with 3 or 4 riders? Maybe that was 20 minutes ago now. The answer seems to be yes, and KT, they're just trying to all in on the Baron.
Well, Cannon Barrage is going to come down. You can see Deft already taking a lot of damage from Nova, but the Hail of Arrows is going to be in there, and Smeb's the one that locks down the kill in the end. Deft flashes. I don't know whether that True Shot Barrage would have hit him. However, you can understand why the respect was given.
KT is scared. They know they need to win this match for first. You see Flash and Heal used. Only one of those required, maybe even neither, but both invested because KT is spooked. They know that Jin Air have got more items than they ever calculated after the early game. It feels like we're gonna get ready to shout about a Titanic moment. This is a game ripe for a super play. KT Rolster are the super team, but they're getting trained down by Teddy.
Teddy might do it again. He's going to do it by himself. Picks up the kill onto the Morgana. Score. Is that Gargoyle Stone Blade enough? No, it's not. You have to flash to get out of the way as well, and it feels like Teddy's playing his Jin again.
Teddy going for this big play, doing the assist for Gen G and Kingzone.
Yep, just by himself. True Shot Barrage again, looking for a snipe. Doesn't get it onto Score, who's able to wait for his Warmog's armor to proc. That is great news. Piercing Arrow is going to be huge when they're in this Baron pit. So Deft has a lot of control around here. So Jin Air starting a Baron, I feel, is even more difficult to that of KT, despite Teddy getting a pick once again onto the Morgana.
Teddy holds so many games in the palm of his hands. Here we go.
Yep, ult is going to be traded for an Arcane Shift. You can do the math on that one. I'm pretty sure that's bad for KT.
Fountain Laser.
He might be the option here, because he's just going to dash over the wall. So once again, just going to use a regular ability, and everything is okay for Jin Air. KT so aggressively looking for these picks, and Jin Air just dancing out of the way of them.
And just some smart moves. You already outlined a couple of times why this was the time for lethality gangplank. They've gotten away for it, and now he might be doing more reliable burst than the Varus. Going for a very similar build. A lot of damage from Smeb, but no ability to actually kill the GP. And Teddy's full Fountain Laser today. KT Rolster, they're zoned away from their inner turret. KT have not made a positive tempo trade in 20 minutes.
But do KT just go for a 50-50 Baron? Do they say, well, we don't care, we're just going to try and take this one now? Dark Binding lands onto exactly the target that they want, and Umpty denied access to the pit. But now, what can KT do to try and stop Jin Air from crushing them? Smeb gets an art only onto Grace in the backline. He's able to flash over. Impale is going to land. That's going to get rid of Score. But now there's no Baron on this map, and there's no Elder Drake to speak of as well. A snipe onto Grace, finally Deft finding the arrows that he needs. It's a 2-for-1. Oh, it's a 1-for-1 trade as Grace goes down and trade for Score, but the Baron goes over to KT.
That snipe's so important. The utility of Grace is down. We back away, we recollect how much can KT get with the Baron that they spent 21 minutes trying to claim.
Yeah, it's been a really difficult one. I don't think often we talk about KT giveth, KT taketh away. I think a lot of this credit needs to go over to Jin Air. They played the Vision War game so beautifully. They took the calculated risks that they knew they could take, and KT wasn't given anything for free whatsoever, despite making a lot of aggressive plays to try and get summoners, cooldowns, anything to give them an edge. And that's why here at 41 minutes, almost 42 minutes, it's a gold lead of what? 400? And that's in favor of Jin Air, the team that didn't get the Baron.
The game was so Baron-centric that we saw 3 Drakes taken super early. At 18 minutes, we're sitting there talking about double Mountain Drake and the ability to get a catch with Sejuani Varus ultimate on a Baron. 23 minutes later, the Baron is taken and the Ocean Drake is killed. No one wanted Ocean Drake, but the Elder Dragon needs to spawn for them to have somewhere else to play around. KT kill the Ocean Drake. Jin Air were happy to keep it on the map because it meant they could just defend topside, continue to make it 4v4 on the top side, and never make Elder Dragon a concern.
Well, now the split push is very scary because it's not instant wave clear coming in, and Smeb is able to demand respect on these turrets. Score misses an ultimate. That's, of course, the Score way, but Smeb going for the 1v1. Does have the hop available yet again, but so on. He can't be in this lane. Smeb's going to have even more pressure. KT pushing another minion wave into the inhibitor turret. in the mid lane. Thankfully for Jin Air, they've got a big wave pushing on the top side of the map. So KT are on a bit of a time limit. Ultimate going to land there from Deft and also lands the piercing arrow onto Teddy with a bit of a blight stack there that came in from the Chains of Corruption. Piercing arrows flying in. Jin Air, not wanting to lose the maximum, are going to move 3 members down towards this inhibitor turret bottom lane. But KT, they've taken their first inhib and are now really trying to put the screws in onto Jin Air. Score takes the majority of the damage, and Mata once again tagged by a barrel. But they really do need to kill Score if they want to get rid of him. Cannon Barrage! He's going to be enough to get rid of Mata, though. Does he have the Arctic Assault back off cooldown is the question. Is Deft. Yep, Teddy's just going to kill him. All too easy. That's the Impale onto Score. He's trying to get out. Yukal gets the Empress Divine, gets rid of Teddy. He might be the hero here for KT. Not enough damage to get rid of Grace. And now, I believe Smeb looking for something more, but he's exhausted. That could have almost been game over, if only for Yukal utilizing his ult.
He needed to kill Teddy, otherwise Teddy could have closed the game. I agree with you. Smeb goes bot side, trying to waste as much time as possible. Imagine if Ezreal could have teleported top lane and just ended the game with the minion wave.
That straight up was it. Yukal saving it here for KT. Smeb, if he had the Mega Gnar, could have been a different story as well, as now we've got the 1v1, so on. Down to Hysterics yet again, but there's Nova, misses the flash taunt, the flash after from Smeb, crushes his way at the edge of the Gnar, the wallop, that's going to be the 1v1. In fact, 1v2 in favor of Smeb. Morgana's in there. Mata thankfully underleveled, so the death timer isn't huge.
Smeb's still coming.
Yep, looking for more. We'll have that mini now, which is actually more important. Umti, no mana there at all, and Grace, he doesn't have any either. The hop forward, Smeb changes target, picks up one with the hyper proc, even finding more now as the boomerang is going to land. Dark Binding there is massive as teleport is going to come in. That's Teddy making his way back into the fight. Smeb needs to be really careful. And Mata, he can't be tanking these ones. Teddy going to run the hell out of the way of the teleport that was incoming. But that was Deft. He's not going to be able to threaten very much against Teddy. You can see the concentration on these guys' faces.
It's just so long. The action keeps taking twists and turns. Smeb says, Cuve, eat your heart out. I'm going to also carry in the ultra late game in a must-win match on this Gnar, getting the kills, also proxying the minions. Gnar keeps this game alive. 100%. If Teddy had lived, it would have been Yukal. If he couldn't have got that kill, if he couldn't have traded, then Ezreal would have teleported top lane. There was 4 minion waves all clumped up in an inner turret, and Jin Air would have won. That didn't happen. The Gnar did the rest of the work, and now KT, they're knocking on the door of first place.
Yep. It's the macro play here from KT. They had that inhibitor already down in the mid lane, so they're going to answer with another one on the bottom side of the map. You can see inhibitor timer in the mid lane still 2.5 minutes. And there's only 2 minutes on that Baron buff, so with 2 inhibitors down, it should guarantee the next Baron for KT. They can play textbook theoretically, unless Jin Air can find themselves a miraculous team fight. Remember, they have everything that they need in order to win a team fight if they can get one.
Only 2 Gathering Storms in the game are not on Teddy. Very interesting to see that. It is on the Gnar, it is on the Varus. The Varus one, it means something, but it doesn't mean everything. He can't one-shot anyone with a Q, and I don't think that will ever happen, but he basically kills someone with 2 piercing arrows if they're maximum charge. Basically everyone on the map suffers the same fate.
Yep.
You wonder if there's ever a reason to adjust the build and just sell everything and go standard build if he has enough gold later. We're not at that point yet, but the moment you see Gangplank critting minions for 1100, you know, you're definitely at the late game.
Yep, also when he's got about a tank's worthy of a health bar as well. Certainly isn't built like a tank. This guy's got 2 lethality items and the Stormrazor Trinity Force.
You look at the enemy team, there's no magic resist, and smartly I think Yukal's getting more value out of haunting guys than necessarily a Void Staff would give him at this point. Yes, Void Staff is total magic penetration,
yeah, true.
But 10% more damage on a bajillion damage is a lot of damage.
Grace going to lose a Banshee's Veil, and that's actually a cooldown that's pretty important here as Smeb looking to go even more aggressive, finds himself the Boomerang, and now the Hyper. Oh, it's a hula hoop, and Grace may have made the game-losing mistake. That's now on cooldown in a turret now going to be taken easily by KT as the Baron is up in 15 seconds and Shockwave won't be.
Smeb is desperate for this first place on the day, for the inside track onto that grand final. KT rolls to the super team, has never gotten there. KT have never been LCK regular season winners. But
that one's going to land as the ultimate right on top of Teddy. One more Q. Could have actually been the death of Deft there. As Nova, he's pushing forward. Umti threatening as well. Deft is very, very slow, but the Baron is dead. Hail of Arrows there to stop any engage from Jin Air. And now Super Creeps are going to have a purple buff. And Jin Air's going to have to try and deal with it unless KT decide that Elder also is on the menu.
Every time the Arcane Shift forward comes in, we remember Teddy's hard carry performances and we wait for him to deliver the victory to the side of Jin Air. Doesn't happen that time, but it's oh so close. Looking for steal.
Not going to happen. Score's going to actually find this one with the Smite, and KT, they're going to go back home with the Empowered Recall. They're going to buy their last batch of items and try to win this game to guarantee first place with that head-to-head over Griffin. Still neck and neck up there with 4 teams on 11 wins if KT can do this.
And if you're racking your brain or you're tuning in late, that is the first Elder Dragon buff at 48 minutes, not the second one, because the Ocean Drake was spawned at 42 minutes and the Elder only came up much later. So that's the big thing here. It is only the single Elder Dragon buff, but it is 12% AD and AP and 30% damage to structures. If KT get the poke down, the structures die in just a gust of wind.
Yep, this is ridiculously extreme damages. Yeah, Yukal, he doesn't have boots. He decided he wanted a potion instead. Sold it just to make sure that he had his Liandry's ready for this next fight, and he's probably going to be shifting sands more than actually going for any roaming. It's only, there are 4 sets of boots, thankfully. Over for KT. Still 2,100 gold in Smeb's back pocket, so he probably wants to teleport into the next fight, but doesn't actually have that cooldown available. Is Baron getting staved off for the moment on the side of Jin Air.
One wave is very hard to push. That's why we have Smeb playing the top side and Gangplank trying to answer the empowered minions on the bot side with that inhibitor down. So the super minions have been stalled for a little while. Smeb's taking his time. He's actually waiting here.
I think he might be trying to stack the wave.
Yeah, that's what it looked like there, trying to stack the wave as much as he could. That'd be difficult to do when the Baron buff is there.
Yep. Smeb going to take a whole chunk of damage, understanding that he does need to respect so on. Those barrels are going to land. It is a big problem as KT. Deft actually moving forward. Umti staying threatening on the Skarner. Clinging onto relevance here is the Skarner in the late game. Umti still looming as Teddy once again going to flash forward, but KT will be able to take this inhibitor in the mid lane. Inhibitor turret now under fire on the top side of the map as good God Yukal is going to chunk that one. Smeb as Meganar. Jin Air don't want to go anywhere near him.
25 seconds of Elder, 1 minute Baron buff left, Atlas.
Yep, and that's going to be 3 inhibitors down. Jin Air, they will need to find a fight. 16 seconds on the clock. You better believe that Jin Air are timing this one. They'll pull the trigger as soon as that buff goes down, but they'll lose another inhibitor, and they'll have maximum timer on all 3. Purely because of the Elder Drake needing all of that respect.
Jin Air watched KT, basically perfect game, and they need to do something now.
Yep, first Nexus turret is going to go down. It just gets looked at by KT. Jin Air, they have to make a move. They have to do something. Smeb is looking just to kill Umti before they even do. The Nexus is exposed, and now it's just auto attacks. KT will take first place in an epic final match of the night.